All right, guys. Hi, I am your twin flame teacher, Miss Brittany. Welcome to my channel. Um, I'm going to try something a little bit different for this video. Uh, as you can see in my short list of videos, I've had different methods, or excuse me, I've had one different method of uploading videos, and that was essentially to teach by the utilization of an online, like an online presentation. Uh, I don't feel led for this video to share in that same manner, but I feel led to share this information just with this screen like this, okay? I want you to focus on the message as opposed to a presentation in front of you. That said, again, welcome to my channel. Let's go ahead and let's jump right in. So, recently, guys, my last few videos talked about transformation going on with actual twins, and I've talked about specifically a missed opportunity for most of you related to a career or your profession in some sort. But I really haven't touched on too much what's going on with the divine, your divine counterparts. In this case, we're going to talk to my divine feminines, those in that energy. You may be a male or female physically, but this is for those whose energy resides in that of the divine feminine. So here's what I want to convey. Here's what the universe is telling me I need to convey to the collective. For many of you, you are on a path where you are making progress. And you've made progress even when it seems like you might not be making progress. Most of you are not in communication. You have not been in communication with your divine masculines for some time. And it might be hard to fathom how you could have made any type of progress when you haven't been in contact. Most of you know that you've needed to do work on yourself. You've taken steps to better yourself. You've taken steps to become in tune with yourself, to connect with those around you, to become a better person. And that is what I mean when I say you've made progress, okay? And that progress is seen and felt, despite what you might think, by your divine masculines. You're searching and you've really felt like you've lost yourself. You felt like obviously you've lost your divine masculine because you haven't been in communication, or if you have had communication, the communication may have just been one time and you haven't heard from him since. You may have heard from him twice at most. You haven't heard from him, and even then the communication has been short. It's not been communication like it was in the past where you really connected. You had the conversations that went on for hours. That has not been the case. So you feel a sense of loss. But I want to tell you that you have made progress. The universe recognizes it, and I am here to convey that information to you. I've had a message come directly from the divine masculines for my divine feminines, and that is that he is on his way back, but he wants and he needs something different. For many of you, your old self as a divine feminine was someone who, when the divine masculine called, you literally would drop everything to do what he wanted, when he wanted, and how he wanted it. He told you to jump and you asked, how high? I'm not saying to ignore your divine masculines, but I'm telling you there needs to be something different, and it needs to happen in a specific area. Some of you may have, during this time of separation, engaged with Soulmates or karmic partners, that's fine. I'm not here to tell you whether or not you should or shouldn't do that. Different strokes for different folks. But your old way of approaching specifically sex with the divine masculine. I understand some of you have not had sex with your divine masculines, but most of you have, who are in a genuine twin flame relationship, or excuse me, and who are in a who have a genuine twin flame connection. Excuse me. But most of you have had sex with your divine masculines. And I'm telling you now, for those of you who have, most of you sexually, while not very open sexually with others, you were very sexually open and giving of your sexual energy to your divine masculine. Your divine masculine, when he returns, is going to require that the old self, the old woman who gave of herself sexually in a very expedient fashion, you need to withhold that energy. And this is specifically because the divine masculine, if you think back within your union, for those of you who have had sex, you before you'd reach points when you would reconnect, because again, most of you have had this runner chaser dynamic for a while, before you would engage in sex, when you were having those phone conversations, when you maybe were hanging out, the connection was there and there wasn't any sense that he would run. But it wouldn't be too long after sexually connecting that you would find the immediate disconnect, the immediate return to the runner chaser dynamic. Sometimes you may have thought that it was because, especially in the early days, if this is what happened, you may have thought, well, either I'm not that sexually experienced, or maybe the sex wasn't that good. No, it wasn't that at all. It was because you already share a connection, and that sex, adding that sex to that level, adds a whole, a lot larger of a bang, so per se. And I don't mean to, well, maybe it was like the wrong thing to use, but adding sex to an already intense connection makes the intensity, it made it so much more beyond a point of being able to contain his feelings. So that said, the actual divine masculine here is telling me to tell my divine feminines who have already had sex with their divine masculines, not necessarily hold off. You definitely want to show that you were open, but let him lead the way. Some of you have, while you might be more the type that has him make the first move, that's not exactly what I'm referencing. What I'm referencing is he comes along, you connect with his energy, he connects with your energy. Let his energy pull you in. Don't even unknowingly pull him into that sexual dynamic, because that intensity will make him run again, okay? So you have to be willing to approach it differently. Now, for those of my divine feminines who have not had sex with their divine masculine, when your divine masculine returns, while you don't have to worry about falling back into that old habit, what you do need to consider is the fact that you yet and still want to guard your sexual energy, okay? And it's not a guarding because you need to guard it from him. You need to guard it because that is what he requires. While your divine masculine has been gone, many of you are aware that he has been with karmic partners. He has been with those who would be considered for him soulmates. Specifically, the relationship he's just coming out of is with someone, I hate to tell it to you, but most of the reason that he stayed in that situation, for some of them it was money, but even with that money, for many of them it had to do with the fact that the sex was just freaking amazing. Physically, she may have done things that you weren't willing to do or didn't know how to do, and that's no disrespect or of no ill will towards you or your skills and abilities. That's just saying that sexually, she probably was more in tune with him. If you look at your sexual dynamic with your divine masculine, for many of you, he had not necessarily a higher sex drive, because many of you, when you came into union with your divine masculine, you'll find that your sex drive did increase, but you'll find that he was more sexually aggressive. It's something different of you.